Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood. Welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. It is December 6th, 2018. Shout out to my man UK Ranja for the song request. Most Def, Mrs. Fat Booty. Oh, I love this one. I'm sure many of you do. Yeah, what's going on, people? Hope you guys are all right today. We're taking another leg down, as I told you guys a couple of days ago on Twitter, that we would be taking another leg down in the markets. Again, you know, I'm very bearish on the markets right now, but I am hoping that we hold 3K on Bitcoin, because if we don't, technically speaking, that would be very bad. Now, 3K is actually kind of far from here. That's 20% from where we are today, roughly, just maybe shy of 20%. So that's still a decent amount to go down. So I'm hoping that we can hold 3K, and that will be the bottom of this market. Let's see what happens, though. Only time will tell. But today we are going to be talking about Andreas Antonopoulos. I know I've told you guys this many times before. I've really looked up to him. One of the well, actually the number one person I would go to in my journey in this whole crypto space, maybe 6 years ago. Wealth of knowledge. He's one of the biggest ambassadors for cryptos. I think he's very underrated, underappreciated. And so there's an article that he's talking about. Actually, I think there's a video, but there's an article written about what he talked about in the video. And it's about how Bitcoin is not going anywhere, how to survive this crypto crash, and what it means for Bitcoin difficulty rate to adjust, and how that should keep us out of that so-called death spiral. So we'll take a look at that. And then secondly, I'm late to this one. I saw this, but I reported on Bitcoin's big whale moves the other day. Litecoin had some whale moves as well. This was really disturbing. 60% of the total supply of Litecoin was moved the other day. We're going to talk about that. See, those types of moves to me shows that the wealth is centralized, not necessarily the security of the network, but the wealth of these, you know, the main coins is very concentrated. So what does this mean? Is there going to be a dump coming? You know, again, I have to believe so, or if they're selling OTC, but we'll see. But 60% of the supply, that is insane. That just lets you know again how concentrated the wealth of some of these coins are. And so we'll take a look at that article. That caught my eye. I thought that was interesting. But before we get started, you know the routine. Let's go ahead and take a look at that market cap, guys. We're currently at $116 billion, just shy of 117. I think this is an all-time low for this year as far as market cap goes. I think last week we may have touched 119 or 118 before we take another little step up in the markets. But we're at lows now, 116.9. Bitcoin's dominance is almost at 55%. We're at 55.77. One thing I do want to show you, Ethereum is below the $100 handle. We talked about this in August, that I felt like Ethereum would go below $100, and just maybe about 3 weeks ago I said that Ethereum will be at $80 soon. So I think we're on the way to that, and I think we're heading even lower than that with Ethereum, just because of fundamental reasons that I've already explained. So just go back and look at some of my old videos if you have not heard. So let's take a look at this market from a technical standpoint. I've got this expanded here. So this is just showing you on TradingView the algorithm and what it's doing. That blue line is the equity growth for my account from year to date. I didn't start actually trading this live until maybe 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 5.5 months ago. But we have 282%. If I was trading all year from year to date, I would be up 282%. Profit factor is over 2, so we're at 2.22, and a drawdown of only 19%. So that's a very low drawdown considering the return. Okay, but anyway, this is where we are right now with things. critical levels. What did I tell you guys? We would be testing this 3590 area, 3600 essentially, and we're right there. So very important time right now in cryptocurrencies. If we break this, we're heading to 3K, and that is the ultimate line in the sand where we have to figure out what is going to happen if the bulls can come in. Sentiment is so low. I think I heard the shorts were at like near highs for the month. So we'll have to see what happens. We're again short still. We shorted right there at 41.61. So we're up. Let's do it quickly. We're up. That's a 14.5% short we have there on whatever we have leveraged. So again, it just depends on how much you have in your margin for trading. If you had 10,000, you're up 1,400 bucks on this one trade. Okay, so you get the picture, and you can trade a 10,000 handle contract with 150 bucks. Though I probably wouldn't. That's a little highly leveraged there, but you get the picture. Leverage trading, if used properly, and we institute proper usage of leverage in my trading room. So very good trades there. We got tapped out here on a long. It went against us, but overall we've been really doing well. This was another short. This was a huge short that we took here. So this one we're looking at 17% there. So again, 1,700 for every 10,000 in contracts you're trading there. But yeah, so you guys can sign up. You'll see the ad scrolling through the video. I'm not going to go through that whole spiel today. But first article, Andreas Antonopoulos maps out crypto survival and why Bitcoin will avoid a death spiral. So it says here, Bitcoin won't go to zero, according to Andreas Antonopoulos and Crypto Blood, a cryptocurrency advocate, teaching fellow at the University of Nicosia, a former chief security officer at blockchain.info. Instead, Bitcoin's self-preservation mechanisms adapts to its environment in order to incentivize the mining community. If mining a coin becomes too costly and difficult, it adjusts. If it becomes too easy, it adjusts. It will ultimately readjust to its difficulty target, says Andreas Antonopoulos, to make mining more profitable. In a series of Bitcoin Q&As, Andreas explains how the Bitcoin protocol was configured to retarget the difficulty rate each time 2016 blocks are mined. He says here the way this works is over a period of 2 weeks, there should be 2016 blocks, and therefore we can count the previous 2 weeks and say how many blocks were in the past 2 weeks. If the answer is 2016, that means the difficulty of the algorithm and the amount of computation that people are committing to Bitcoin mining is exactly right. It's perfect. Blocks are coming out every 10 minutes, nothing to adjust. Now, let's say that instead of the 2016 blocks, we had 2,217 blocks. So we had effectively 10% more blocks. In that case, the network will make the difficulty 10% higher, exactly the same ratio as the number of blocks we had versus the number of blocks we should have, which is 2016. And if that difference is 10%, then the difficulty algorithm will be adjusted by 10%. And as a result, in future, we'll get closer to 10-minute blocks. But if instead of 2016 blocks, we had 1,800 blocks and we were short by 200 blocks, then it's about 10% short. We would adjust by 10% in the difficulty. That calculation happens every 2016 blocks, every 2 weeks at exactly the same time on exactly the same block, and affects the difficulty of the next block across the entire network. Every computer on the network puts in the number of blocks it saw over the last 2 weeks, measures the exact same number, adjusts the difficulty by the exact same amount, and arrives at the same exact answer. And so the entire network switches difficulty for the exact same amount every 2 weeks. And the article goes on, assuming a doomsday scenario where mining power drops dramatically, Bitcoin could experience a sudden and sustained interval between retargeting periods. The network would need, for example, 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks to produce 2016 blocks if only 50% of the miners participated. In this case, the likelihood of more miners shutting down would increase as they would struggle longer. The impact would be a domino effect of losing mining power, slower intervals until an adjustment, more miners dropping out, more lost mining power, and so-called the death spiral that will kill the network. Antonopoulos says it's an unlikely scenario since miners have a long-range outlook, long-term equipment investments, and electricity plans that extend for months, not days or 2-week periods. Those miners who tough it out through the current market downturn, driven by dynamic monetary incentives of the Bitcoin network, will reap substantial rewards. In fact, he says if they wait until the difficulty retargets and the difficulty becomes less, it gets easier to mine. Then each miner who waits makes more profit because in the new scheme they have a greater percentage of the mining power than they did before. Let's say if the mining power drops by 50%, the miners who stick around and wait for the difficulty retargeting are now twice as profitable after the retargeting. That's pretty good incentive to stick around, he says. So yeah, I mean, I agree, though, you know, we can't rule anything out. You know, there is always a possibility maybe the percentage is low that we have a death spiral. I think it's very low, but you know, you never want to rule out for certain that things aren't going to happen, because they do. But I agree with them. You know, I don't think we're going to see a death spiral. I think, you know, with the incentives marked into the Bitcoin network for miners, I think it's enough to definitely help a lot of people stick around. A lot of major operations put a lot of capital up to mine, so they're not going anywhere. Like he said, it's not a 2-week thing, time horizon for these guys. They're talking about years of investments. But you know, hey, now they've definitely taken it on the chin for sure. I know I didn't think that we were going to see these types of prices this sustained, this low. And so the mining definitely has come back. Interesting take. I always like to hear what Andreas Antonopoulos has to say. Crypto space. And what do you guys think? Are we susceptible to a death spiral in cryptocurrencies? Well, more particular in Bitcoin. Do you think we'll ever have a scenario where we could have a death spiral? I mean, I don't think so. But again, I keep saying we got to stay above 3K, people. If we don't, it's going to get ugly. And second article, Crypto Vest says Litecoin sees 60% of its supply moved in one go. A mysterious transaction at the end of November moved some 36 million Litecoin, or the equivalent of $1.6 billion. Insane. Based on network statistics, Litecoin saw an anomalous transaction of around 36 million coins, or $1.16 billion, while it was likely the result of moving coins from exchange wallets. Some see the regrouping as preparation for more active times to come. Traders have also noticed a significant movement of coins, and we've got this guy called LTC Whale Watcher with his tweet. The article goes on to say here, it is possible that some of the Litecoin are sent to exchanges which usually hold the largest wallets. The wallet ecosystem and observed addresses are a source of panic for investors interested in crypto assets. Even though no single wallet for Litecoin holds more than 1.56% of the supply, a tweet from Weiss rating agency suggests a single source of the large transactions. However, it seems like the top wallets for exchanges simply received funds, with reasons ranging from a plan to sell to preparation for a price rally. The Litecoin network has seen a general decline in transactions in the past month, from a record of above 226,000 in 24 hours down to around 26,000 Litecoin. Wow, in 24 hours. Litecoin has been used to transfer funds to and from exchanges, but with the decline in general enthusiasm, the network is experiencing subdued activity. In addition, the Litecoin hash rate has fallen by roughly 50% in the last 6 months, coinciding with the trend of weakening Bitcoin mining. The ASIC mined coin has not seen such an inflow of miners as larger networks. However, Litecoin remains one of the more liquid coins with robust presence on Asian exchanges. The recent price weakness and continued slide have triggered forecasts of Litecoin slippage below the $30 level and possibly returning to single-digit prices. I'm just surprised here that the volume on Litecoin transactions have dropped that much, from 226,000 in 24 hours to 26,000. So activity on the network has dropped, as so for many of the coins out there, cryptocurrencies. Yes, that's interesting to see that much concentrated wealth within Litecoin. You guys let me know, is this a bullish sign or is this a bearish sign? I'm gonna go with bearish. You know, if we don't hold these levels, Litecoin is literally going back to like $6, $9, somewhere around there. Well, we're gonna try 20 first, I think. But then if that doesn't hold, $9 Litecoin, y'all should have pitchforks out here. For some of the calls on Litecoin this year, gosh, I feel sorry for some of you. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, click that bell, share this video, and give a shout out to my man UK Ranja one more time. Miss Fat Booty, Most Def, love this joint right here. But that's pretty much it for today. It's your boy Crypto Blood, my 2 Satoshis for December 6th, 2018. I'm out of here. Holla!